Hello and welcome to my channel. Alan Fitt. This is Alan obviously talking. I thought with this video I'd mostly do a voiceover because you'd rather see me in action rather than me talking to a camera and seeing my butt ugly face. So as you guessed from the title of the video, it is leg training. I'm going to talk through each exercise, why I'm doing it, the benefits of leg training, and why you should be incorporating it into your training routine, no matter if you're male or female. I would appreciate it if you were to subscribe to me. Comment below what you think of my videos, give it a like, and comment any feedback you've got, what you'd like to see, what you'd like to know more. This is the third week of my channel going, and we'll get into things. So, as the title of the video is leg day, I'm starting off with a hip thrust, and I solemnly put all my deadlift strength down to this exercise. Excuse me. Since doing this exercise, my deadlift has gone up 40 kilos. That's not any small matter at all. It's not particularly in any long length of time either. Since I consistently put this exercise into my training, my hips have become less tight, obviously doing mobility work as well, and my glutes have become dramatically stronger, and I've actually been able to engage them and feel them. Prior to doing this exercise, when I squat or anything, I wouldn't really ever feel the mind muscle connection on my glutes. Now guys shy away from doing this exercise, but as I said, you know, if you really want to look at overall development and strengthening yourself completely, and you want a heavier deadlift, glutes are important. Glutes support your lower back, they support your pelvis, they support your hip flexors. They're an important part of your anatomy, and you're not going to engage them as much as you do this exercise, squatting, lunging, or anything. This is for the guys and girls here. This is the solemn number one exercise for engaging glutes, the hip thrust. There's lots of different variations of doing the hip thrust. This is one of them. This is a barbell hip thrust. And as I said, this is the most beneficial exercise for strength development in your glutes. You may have a good butt if you do squats and if you lunge and do certain things like that, but that just because you have a round butt doesn't necessarily mean that your glutes are strong. You know, from gaining strength in your glutes, you need to do exercises such as this. This day I was doing a 5x5 training, which is strength training. I'm doing 5 sets and 5 reps. As you can see in the bar now, I've got a mat folded because the circular foam grip you get to put on the bar when you're squatting for your back. I do use on this, but now because I'd gotten so heavy, up to 160 kilograms now, which again the heaviest I've done on this exercise, the foam grip wasn't enough, so I got a mat from the side of the room, folded it in half. I'm getting a bit annoyed there, and chucked it under, and obviously because I've got 160 kilos on quite a thin steel plate across my hips, eventually it does dig through and you do feel it. But yeah, so guys and girls, get hip thrusting. I can't stress it enough. I don't see any guys in the gym I go to hip thrusting. I'm not seeing anyone do it. So you never know, me doing these videos may persuade you and give you some info and maybe incline you towards doing it. Next, I'm finally squatting. I'm not back squatted in months. I've been closely looking at my back squat, and what I'm doing here is I'm doing box squats. So I'm squatting to a step, to a height. The reason I'm doing this is because I do suffer from a butt wink. What is a butt wink? A butt wink is when you squat, and when you get to a certain depth, your bum tucks in under your pelvis. That's like the best way I can describe it. So it's when you squat to a particular point and you get a pelvic tilt, which brings your bum under and drives it forward, so your lower spine curves, which isn't obviously great. A lot of people do suffer from this, and it's usually to a mechanical issue, something that possibly not firing right, but also depends on your anatomy as well. Some people can get a really good depth squat, I mean talking ass to grass, ass to the floor, and not suffer any pelvic tilt whatsoever. However, when I'm doing it recently, I am suffering from a pelvic tilt. So ways to iron this out is do things such as goblet squats, working on your mobility, foam rolling, what I've been doing daily, working on flexibility, and strengthening your squat. So hence why I've got 2 steps here. I've got them just at the right height, so just before I go into a butt wink, I'm sitting down, I'm touching the step, I'm driving back up through my heels. yeah, so this is what I'm trying to do at the moment to help iron out the issue I've got. If I were to squat full depth, we're talking ass squats, which basically means getting your bum as close to the floor as you can, I would get a spine flexion, and it would put tension and a lot of pressure on my lower spine, and obviously that's not good. Not when you've got like between 40 to 80 kilograms of weight on your back. You're going to seriously do yourself harm and seriously do yourself injury. So if you suffer from a pelvic tilt and you get a butt wink when you squat, draw it back, do box squats for a little while until you get your mechanics firing a bit better. Or if you can see yourself what height you're squatting to and you're going below parallel, great. There's nothing that says that you have to squat as deep as you can. As long as you're going slightly below parallel, then we're all good. We're firing all the right muscles. So yeah, I lost my train of thought a little bit there. But yeah, so this is what I'm doing to try and help iron out my little issues. Every other exercise I've done on my other videos, I've done like my personal best, my heaviest on weight, because of the issue I've got when squatting. I'm not going to push it too hard. I don't want to see what my 1 rep max is quite yet, because I want to get my mobility issues sorted first and make sure that I'm confident squatting again. And getting some steps like this can help massively. Sitting down, because obviously you're not going to go too far and you're not going to irritate or hurt yourself. In the past, when I have been doing squats, this is the only exercise that I do get lower back pain with, which is, that's why I've got my butt wink, which obviously, unless you look in the mirror or record yourself, you're never going to see it. So if you're unsure yourself, get your phone out. You shouldn't care what anyone else thinks, and just record yourself and see what you're doing, and then only that way you can truly pick apart your technique and make sure you're doing it correctly. I started on just a barbell, and I've built up set by set, going up by 5 kilos, going 10 reps each time. I've got no trainers on, because the flatter your foot when you squat, the better. You can be an advantage to slightly elevate your heel. It can help assist your squat. You can get lifting shoes that do elevate your heel, which can aid squatting, which I will be buying at some point this year. And then also making sure that your core's tight, your shoulders are back, your chest is up high, you're sitting back into the heels of your feet, coming down and thrusting up forwards through your heels, pushing your hips forwards and keeping your stomach tight at all times. As you can see, when I'm picking the bar off the racks there, as I stand back, I'm making sure that I'm not taking too many steps back, because obviously if the weight's too heavy for me and I can't get it back up, I only need to take 1 step forwards and I can rack the weight back on. When you're going for your PB or your heaviest, it's important that you're squatting as close to those railings as you can, because if you fail, that weight's coming down. So just ensure that you're being as safe as you can, or maybe get a spotter just to sit behind you and put the arms underneath your armpits, just to ensure that you're not going to fail if you try and a personal best or the heaviest weight you've ever done. I think I went up to 80 kilos here, 10 reps of 80. Obviously, because of the hip thrusts that I'd done the previous day, I was really fatigued. My bum was sore today, my glutes were sore today, and my hamstrings were a little bit tight. I did foam roll prior to the session to loosen myself up, but obviously because of that yesterday, I'm a little bit fatigued, my legs are a little bit tired, and I was planning on doing this video for a few days, and I come to train legs and I got the onset of a cold. So also I'm feeling a bit snuffly, a bit run down, a bit tired, and you know any people that have trained legs, you know yourself that, that it takes it out of you. It's a big muscle group. You're going to burn a lot of calories training legs, because it's such a large muscle group, and you're going to burn a lot of calories, and it does fatigue you really quickly. So trying to battle off a cold at the same time is not particularly great. I didn't plan on that, but I still want to get this video out for Monday, so I stuck through it and continued with it. So I went on so much there. Last exercise there, so obviously that works all legs. It works quadriceps, glutes and hamstrings. A lot of people think squats are terrific for glutes. They are okay for glutes, but 9 times out of 10 you're going to find more development on quads than what you are on your glutes. And the first exercise I did in this video, the hip thrust, that's going to be the most beneficial exercise for glute engagement, for growing that booty, and for strengthening other lifts such as deadlift, and help your body obviously move forwards. The next exercise I'm on to here is leg press. And I always like to leg press isometrically, so I'm always working one leg at a time. This can help strengthen against imbalances. So if you feel like you've got one leg stronger than the other, this can help iron out any issues that you've got there, that you think that you've got an imbalance, or one leg that fires differently to the other. On this, I was doing 10 reps, one leg, keeping one leg on the floor, one leg up. Again, keeping my torso tight, hands firmly on the side handles there, keeping my back flat, try not to let my bum come up as I bring my knees to my chest, and pushing through. So I'm doing 10 on one leg, 10 on the other leg, and then as a bit of a superset, I'm doing 2 legs together, same weight, just being controlled with it. All I'm concentrating on doing is bringing my knees to my chest, right down, and then deep breath, and then I'm powering through, really tensing and squeezing my quadriceps as much as I can as I push through. And then on the negative, I'm trying to keep it a bit more controlled to work on the negative part of the contraction. Like this and every other exercise you're going to see on here, I did 4 sets. Why do I do 4 sets? Because I like doing 4 sets. You don't have to do 4 sets. It depends if you're doing frequency versus volume. I like to do maybe not as many exercises, but higher amount of sets within those exercises. So instead of doing 3 sets and everything, I'll do 4. That's just how I've always trained. That's how I've always liked to train. That's what I find comfortable. And benefit of also doing one leg as well, I feel I can get a little bit my knee deeper down to my chest. Sometimes when I feel I'm doing both legs, I feel not quite as flexible, and my knees, I don't get quite low enough. So this exercise is majority working quadriceps, working the fronts of your legs, 3 big muscle heads on the front of your leg there. Very beneficial for overall leg development. I'm very quad heavy, very quad dominant myself, so I am focusing more on building my glutes and my hamstrings to have more a bit of a balance in my legs. But I think I've always had pretty good legs. The main reason I think I've got pretty good legs is because I used to be overweight. I used to be fat. So when I used to be 18 stone, I obviously had to carry around all that weight, extra weight I had on me, which gave me a lot of strength in my legs, a lot of muscle in my legs, having to carry on that additional weight. So why should you train legs? That's what we're going to be between each exercise. When I run out of things to say about the exercise, I will talk about the benefits of leg training. Why should you train legs? Well, if you're a guy, testosterone, simple as you get older, you don't create as much testosterone, or as you're lifting between the age of 18 to 30. Great. You're training upper body, you're getting in shape, you're building muscle, fantastic. What's going to help you more so is training legs. Legs is a very big muscle group, and research has shown that the more muscles you engage at once during training, the more testosterone you build. So chances are getting a leg day in there once or twice a week is going to help actually build and assist the rest of your body. I tend to train legs not usually in a whole day like this. I train legs on a push and pull day. So example, on a push day, I work quads because I work every muscle that you push. So when we're talking pushing, we're talking bench press, overhead press, that's a push. This one, leg press, that's a push. So anything that you do a push on, I work on a push day. On a pull day, I will work hamstrings and glutes. You could argue that glutes is more of a push because it's a thrust of the hips, but because I don't find hamstrings as straining as what I do quadriceps, I would choose to train hamstrings on a pull day, along with back, rows and biceps. And calves, I tend to train if and where I like, really. I'm not too specific. I think calves are very much like forearms. I don't think there is particularly any mileage in training these areas a lot, because you can waste lots of time trying to grow these areas, and they're going to grow naturally through squatting, through deadlifting, through any other compound movement. They are going to gradually grow on their own. But if you really are insecure about your forearms and calves, be my guest. Train them as much to your heart's content. But another obviously advantage to training legs, you're going to fill out a pair of shorts nicely. Why do I wear leggings in the gym? Because I do have a little bit of loose skin on my legs, and I don't feel very secure wearing shorts, because obviously I'm just insecure and I feel like you can see the loose skin. So that's why I wear leggings in the gym. Also, because the new gym short vests I have, they come quite low, like over your bum, and they're quite tight fitted, and they look daft with shorts on, hence why I'm wearing leggings. And next exercise is an alternative to a lunge. Lunge, again, is working very much quadriceps and hamstrings, and I'm doing dumbbell step-ups onto a bench. I could actually here do a higher step, but as I've got a cold and I'm feeling a bit down and fatigued, I decided just to stick with the bench. I start on 16 kilo dumbbells, doing 10 reps per leg. I have about a 30-second rest, and then I'm back onto the next set. Every exercise in this video, I was having all the hypertrophy exercises, I was doing 30-second rest. The first exercise on the hip thrust, I was having a little bit long because that was more strength training. On the leg press back there, because it was a superset, I was having more like 50 seconds to a minute. On these, as there's no superset, nothing special about them, I was having about 30 seconds and jumping into the second set. First set was 16 kilo dumbbells, second set was 18s. I've implemented these into my training more and more. I do prefer them to lunges. Maybe I'm just a bit of a pansy, but I don't particularly enjoy lunges. But again, it's something that I should be forcing myself to do this year. However, my strength has come up on these. I was doing 18 kilogram dumbbells last time I did them, and I think on this video I get up to either 20 or 22. I'm not sure, we will find out ourselves. So technique of the exercise, all I'm doing is I'm standing on one side of the bench. Again, I'm keeping my stomach tight, my shoulders back, chest open, keeping my arms down, relaxed down my sides. Keeping one foot on the bench and driving through my heel, stepping up and onto the bench and stepping back down again. Again, all I'm trying to do at all times is try and keep my stomach as tight as I can. Through any exercise in the gym, you should be maintaining stomach tightness. Helps strengthen and engage your transverse abdomini, and it also keeps you balanced, which is the most important thing. Obviously, if you're stepping up through one leg, you're going to be a little bit unbalanced and a little bit off. So, biggest thing is just to make sure that your technique's good. Go slow down and take your time. I think a lot of people rush exercises, and I don't think there's much benefit in doing that. I always try and take my time doing exercises because I'd rather have good technique and good form over rushing through an exercise, because, you know, at the end of the day, we're in the gym to break our muscle tissue apart, and that's how we grow and we get stronger. Every time you do a rep or anything in the gym, you're making micro tears in your muscles, and then obviously when you go home, you eat, you sleep, you recover. If you're just going to run through a set, going as fast as you can, jumping up, jumping down, are you going to achieve as many micro tears as what you would if you're doing it a little bit slower, like stepping up, counting 1, 2, 3, stepping down, count 3 seconds down? No. So always slow and controlled always wins the race. Technique always overweight. If you feel like you're failing or your technique isn't as good because you've gone too heavy, then go lighter with your weight. You shouldn't be going in the gym to impress anyone. All that matters is that you yourself are progressing. As long as you're moving forwards and you're getting stronger, and you're not going backwards, that's the most important thing. You know, if you're going in the gym week in, week out, and your weight is staying the same all the time, then there's something not quite right there. Either your training isn't effective, you're doing too much, or maybe your nutrition isn't right. Maybe you're not eating enough, or maybe you're not hitting enough protein in your diet. There's so many things that have to be bob on right to grow and improve, especially when training naturally. If you know the supplements you can take that can assist you, such as protein and that, BCAAs, but end of the day, if you're not tracking your macros, then you're half-arsing it. You know, it's all very well going in the gym, hitting workouts, 5 or 6 times a week. But if you get home and you're ordering pizza, or you're not tracking your protein intake, you know, then chances are you're not maximising your opportunities to grow. I'll do another video shortly about what training you should be doing, what splits you should be doing, because everyone's always like, you should be doing this split, this split, this split. But that's not the wrong answer. You know, what you need to take into consideration is how many times you can get into the gym, and then your training adjusts on that. I'm very lucky. I get in the gym 6-7 days a week because I am a personal trainer. Fitness and gymming is pretty much my life. Hence why I started this YouTube channel, and you know, from my weight loss transformation that I will do another video on. I want to help others grow and continue moving forwards. So I'm in there 6-7 days a week, and I've started doing push-pull workouts this tail end of last year and this year, and my strength and everything's gone up so much since doing this. Instead of going in and wasting days just doing an arm day or just a shoulder day, I think it really is a waste. That's my opinion. That's what's worked for me. Obviously, everyone's different. What works for other people, one person will not necessarily work for another person. I've just found since altering my training, this has really helped me grow and improve. So, before I get too off subject, next exercise, we've moved on to hamstrings. So, I'm doing a stiff leg deadlift. Now, because, as I mentioned on my back squat earlier, I do sometimes get little issues with my lower back sometimes twinges, but however, I say that, but I've not had that in a good 4 to 5 months, which is a good thing. So as you see how, usually when you do a stiff leg deadlift, you keep shoulders back, chest open, stomach tight, arms relaxed down by your sides, and then you're rolling. You can do this with a barbell or dumbbells, and you're rolling it down the front of your legs as deep as you can. And what you need to do is hinge at the hips, sit into your heels, and push bum and hips back as much as you can. The further you push your bum and hips back, the further you stretch out those hamstrings, and the further the greater stretch you're going to get on those muscles there. And that's what you want to achieve with this exercise. Now, when I do this exercise, I usually always bend my knees because A, it keeps my lower back straighter, and B, well, the same as A really, and B, the fact that it's just to prevent me getting lower back issues and lower back strains. But as you can see from this video, my lower back, my complete back is straight and perfect. So I'm quite impressed with this, to be honest. So towards the end of this, in my last set, I began to keep my legs a lot straighter because I noticed that keeping my legs straighter, my back was still staying straight. So the work I've been doing for the past, let's say, 2 months or so, on mobility work, on deadlifts and hip thrusts, has really strengthened and improved my lower back. As you can see here, I'm keeping my legs a lot straighter than what I did the previous sets. My back's staying lovely and straight. I'm hinging at the hips, sitting to my heels, push my bum right back, and I'm getting that lovely stretch and squeeze on my hamstrings. I'm even squeezing my glutes as I come forwards there, because you can get a little bit of glute engagement there as well. But the primary part of the body we are working here is back in the legs, the hamstrings. Obviously, you are going to be working a little bit of your shoulders and arms as well, because you're holding on to the heavy weights. But yeah, and that's that. So next one, we're sticking with hamstrings, so we're doing a seated hamstring curl. I do prefer the machines in other gyms where you can lie down on your front and lie down pretty much straight, and then concentrate and digging your heels into your bum. And that's pretty much it. So you can adjust the seat to obviously your body shape and size. I'm quite long, so I've got the seat back as far as I can, but because my legs are so long, I'm very leg dominant, I've got a short torso, I still couldn't get my the backs of my knees to the edge of the seat, sadly. However, I was still able to perform this exercise safely. So again, I'm lying flat, back's flat against the support of the bench on the back of it, sitting down, sticking my bum into the seat, and then I'm just pulling through my heels, and all I'm focusing on doing is getting my heels as close to my bum as we can, squeezing my hamstrings, and then what I usually try and do is work on the negative part of the contraction. So even though I'm pulling back and then coming back slow and slightly controlled. But what I did do today, I went a lot heavier than what I've usually done in the past. So I didn't concentrate on controlling it on the negative as much as what I've done in the past, because I want to really work on strengthening. The previous exercise I did before was working on stretching out the hamstrings, so now I really want to look at strengthening and growing on this particular area. This is a very basic leg day. You see a lot of people in the gym using resistance bands and that, and doing sideward walking into a squatted position, working on inner and outer part of your thighs, doing hip abduction movements, adduction movements. I do those exercises. It's just not in this video. This is a basic leg training video. I might do a more fancy leg day video in the future. But it's doubtful. I get very good results from the basic leg movements. Everything I've mentioned in this video, the only things that I've not done is like a lunge, or a back lunge, or a split squat, or an elevated Bulgarian squat. They are very good exercises as well. But I find that with these basic movements, I really get a lot of growth and development on my legs. But it's been a long time since I've done a complete entire leg day like this, so towards the end here I really was feeling it. I think we're coming towards the end of the video now. I've got one exercise left, which is a leg extension. which is working quadriceps once again, working the fronts of your legs. It's the opposite to this. So obviously with this exercise, we're sitting down and we're pulling back through our heels. And the next video should be up in a second. We're changing machines. There we go. So now with this one, we're sitting back, back's flat against the pad. This one, it does fit me quite well, this one, so I'm able to get the back of my knees and land with the corner of the seat. I'm sitting right back. This time my heels I'm relaxing on this one as my heels come back, and then pushing forwards through the fronts of my shins, get my legs out as straight as I can, and then what I'm doing as I'm extending, as my legs come straight, I'm squeezing my quads as tight as I can and coming back. And again, on this exercise again today, I really went as heavy as what I could, because I've not done this exercise for quite a while, and wants to see what strength I can get up to. I think I was like 3 plates off the bottom, so I was getting 10 reps out each set. I was really made up with my strength on this exercise. So anyway, so there's been a lot of talk in this video, a hell of it. So if you're still here and still listening, thank you for the staying and listening. I hope it's been informative. Any questions you've got for me, do put down below. I really will appreciate it. Any other videos or anything you want to know about, educational videos, anything you're interested in finding out, please do comment and ask me. I do my best to do a video like that. And the next video will be a check-in video on Friday to see what my weight loss is going like, how my body shape is changing, what my current weight is, and how my diet's been in the week. I have a few things on there, different things I've been doing with my diet, a few more shakes I've been trialing in the week. I'll put that on Friday's video. And yeah, so I'd appreciate it if you were to subscribe to my channel, like my video. You know, if you like it, if you don't like it, don't like it. That's completely, you know, that choice is yours. I can't force you to do that. And yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. This last set, the final set of this one, I did a drop set. I did 10 reps as heavy as what I could. Then I was going down 2 or 3 plates at a time, just going to absolute failure, because by this time I was absolutely goosed. I did do some abs at the end of this video, but it's a long video as it is. I didn't want to make it any longer. Half an hour is enough for a leg video. I didn't want to drag it out too long, but even though this is 27 minutes long. And that was this workout. Thank you for watching, guys. Like I said, any questions you've got, please do throw them below. Follow my Instagram. My Instagram is alan.fit. I do a Facebook page too, it's alanfitpt. And any questions regarding personal training or even coaching, give me an email at alanfitpt@icloud.com. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.